In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Illustrator to make an autumn leaf brush that looks something like this. To start off with, open Illustrator and go to File, New. You can see I've selected the document profile as Web and the size is 800 by 600. I'm going to call this Autumn Leaf, and since I've already done this project a couple of times, this is going to be number 3. And OK. The next thing that I did is I went from the internet and I searched for maple leaf just so I could have something to look at while I'm drawing, and I copied this and then went back to Illustrator and go to Edit, Paste. So I'll just stick that on the side so that I can have that as reference. It doesn't have to look exactly like the leaf, but something similar. So first of all, come over and click and hold on the rectangle tool and choose the polygon tool. Click one time on the blank canvas and set the radius to 72 pixels, which is actually 1 inch, and the sides of the polygon as 9, and click OK. So let's make this black, and it should have no stroke on it. So this with the red slash through it. Okay, now I'm going to use the selection tool, and I'm going to make this a little more narrow. Now I'm going to get the direct selection tool, the white arrow, and click these anchors one at a time. The 6 here in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm not going to do anything with these bottom ones or the top one yet. So click this anchor point to select it, and then switch to group together with the pen tool is the Convert Anchor Point tool. So right on this anchor point, click and drag just a little bit. And I'm going to do that for all of these 6 anchor points. So click and drag a little bit, click and drag, and it doesn't matter if they get a little wonky because we're just going to edit them anyway. So for some reason that one twisted, so I'll untwist it. And here's the last one. Okay, now I'm going to go back and get the direct selection tool, and starting with this one right here, I'm going to hold down Alt on the keyboard and grab this outer handle here and drag it down. And I can let go of Alt and I can drag this handle down. Click on the next one over, hold down Alt, drag down the handle, let go of Alt, select the next anchor point, hold down Alt, select the next anchor point, hold down Alt, let go of Alt, Alt, drag in the little corners, Alt, there you go. So now I'm going to try to make this look a little bit more like the top of the leaf over there. So a little more pointy, this goes up a little more. This guy goes over. And it doesn't have to be perfectly the same on both sides. So we'll just see what happens here. Grab the handles. Okay. All right, so good to start with. So now I'm going to use the black arrow, which is the selection tool, and draw a box around this. Hold down Alt and drag off a copy. I'm going to hold down Shift and shrink this a little bit, and then rotate it to the side and overlap it with this one. And looking at the image over here, I want it to be a little bit similar to that. I think I'm going to shrink it just a little bit more. Okay, hold down Alt, drag off another copy. Hold down Shift to make it proportionate. Turn it a little bit sideways. Overlap that. Hold down Alt, drag a copy, rotate it, shrink it a little bit. This will be the bottom point down here at the bottom. So let's see. Yeah, that looks decent. Rotate it just a tiny bit more. Okay, now I'm going to click these three. So hold Shift and get all three of them. Hold down Alt. And if you also hold down Shift, it makes it go straight across instead of going up and down. Whoopsies, let's try that again. Control Z. Okay, Alt, drag off a copy, and then hold down okay, maybe not. So now I'm going to right click on this, go to Transform, Reflect, and if you have Click Preview, you can see that vertical is the correct option, so I'll click OK. And then using the arrow keys, I'll scoot this over so it's relatively the same. Something kind of like that. Okay, I'm going to have a problem right here because these two need to touch. So I'm going to take these little guys and scoot them over using the arrow keys until they actually touch. Okay, now with the black arrow, I'm going to draw a box around the whole thing and find the pathfinder and click Unite. Alright, now deselect is Control-Shift-A. Get the white arrow, the direct selection tool, click on this path in the middle and just hit delete until the whole thing disappears. Alright, now I'm going to make a little stem right here. So I'm going to magnify this, get the direct selection tool, click this anchor point, drag it down, make it a little wider. Let's see here. Drag this up. There we go. Control 0 to fit it on the screen. I think it's a little bit too wide. So I'm going to make it a little bit more narrow. There we go. Okay, and a little bit shorter. Great. Okay, so now we are going to make the veins that are in the leaf. So we're going to get the line segment tool right here and set, let's see, yeah, so Control Z. So I'm going to set the stroke to this gray color and set the fill to none. So in here, I'm going to just click, oops, click and drag, and click and drag. To make all the beginnings of my veins here. Okay, now I'm going to get the direct selection tool, and for each of these I'm going to use the keyboard shortcuts because I don't want to keep going back and forth to change between the direct selection tool and the convert anchor point tool. So to get the convert anchor point tool, click Shift C and then click and drag that curve up. Now click A, select the next line, Shift C, click and drag, A, Shift C, click and drag, A, Shift C, A, and Shift C, A, Shift C, there we go, that didn't take very long. So now they're nice and curved and they look a lot more natural. Now to give these a little bit of a taper, what I'm going to do is get the ellipse tool, which is over here with the rectangle and the polygon, and I'm going to switch this to black and have the stroke as none. And I'm just going to click and drag a little narrow scrunchy polygon in here. I'm going to take the direct selection tool and get only the middle points and then use the keyboard to make it move those points down so it's fat at this end and it's tapered at this end. Now I'm going to pop open the brushes panel. I'm going to tear this off for a minute. And I'm going to click this and, oops, no, cancel. Let's get the black arrow. Click this and drag it over here and make a new art brush. And for the colorization, I'm going to click tints, and the rest of it I'm going to leave the way it is. Okay. See, I messed that up a little bit. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is draw a box around all of these. Hold down Shift, deselect the leaf, and then I'm going to click my little tapered thing there, brush that I just made. Okay, this is a little bit too thick, so I'm going to change it to 0.5. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. I don't know what I did right there. I messed that. Oh, here we go. No fill. There. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is use this same brush to make little veins on there. So now I'm going to use the brush tool and I'm just going to start drawing these veins on here to all the little points. And I want it to touch the middle line, so if I get it too far away I might push Control Z, undo it, and try that again. Like that one. Control Z, and let's try that again. There we go. So this brush that we made is making these nice lines that are thick at the bottom and thin as they go out towards the side. So now I'm just going to kind of fill in these spaces so it doesn't look empty. Alright, there we go, looks pretty good. Okay, so again, I'm going to take the black arrow, draw a line around this, and I'm going to go to Object, Expand, Appearance. Now I'm going to hold down Shift and deselect the black leaf so that I only have the gray veins selected. And I'm going to use the Pathfinder tool and I'm going to unite that so it's all one shape. I don't need this guy anymore, so I'm just going to delete it. I'm going to draw a box around this, hold down Alt so that I have a second leaf. This leaf, I'm going to select just the leaf and I'm going to change it to a gray color. Then I'm going to select all of it, hold down Shift, deselect the leaf, and I'm going to make the veins dark. There we go. And this one I'm going to leave the way it is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is draw a box around both of those, hold down Shift and shrink them both down. And I'm going to rotate them 90 degrees and put them down here on the side. Okay, now I'm going to take the black arrow and select this top leaf here and click it and drag it to the brushes panel. And I'm going to make a new scatter brush this time, not an art brush. And click OK. I'm going to call it Leaf 1. And I'm going to set all of these on random. So all 4 of them on random. Rotation to the path, colorization method, tints, and click OK. Okay, now I'm going to get the second one. Click that, drag it up here, and do the same thing. Scatter brush, Leaf 2, random, 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 path, tint, and OK. Alright, now I'm going to select the, oops, I have to undo that, Control Z and deselect, Control Shift A. Now I'm going to get my leaf and get the paintbrush tool, and I'm going to click on this palette up here and choose a nice orange color here. And then I'm going to swoosh a line on here. Now you'll notice that they all look really uniform, so I'm going to change the brush preferences by double clicking the brush here. Scoot this out of the way so I can see. Now I'm going to just start moving these. This is these sliders. It's going to make some of them large and some of them small. This is going to make the spacing a little more haphazard. This is going to scatter it around a little bit. And now rotation. We want them going all sorts of different directions as if they're blowing around in the wind. So you can play around with all these settings. Make sure this says preview. And I'll click OK. And apply to strokes. All right, now I'm going to click the second one. And this time, let's see, what color do we want to do? Maybe kind of a reddish brown color. And let's draw those on here. Double click the brush and do the same thing. Mess around with these sliders until you like the way it looks. Okay, so let's see here. And apply to strokes. Alright, so there we go. We can apply these leaves on here. You can go back to the other leaf. Maybe this time we'll make it kind of a greenish color. You can apply those leaves. And there we go. So save it. And you will be ready to use this project or this brush on the next part of the project, which is going to be to draw a tree and apply these leaves to the tree. Make sure you use the snipping tool to snip this and put it in your portfolio. That's it for now.